It's been about 6 weeks since I applied and was successfully accepted for my British Airways American Express Platinum Plus card. As a reminder from the initial video, this was about stop ironing your bed sheets, get out there and do something. And for me, it was a chance to consolidate my spend onto an Amex card and see how many bonus points, how Avios bonus points I can rack up. And a quick reminder, obviously, I get 1.5 Avios for every pound I spend and 3 Avios for every pound I spend with British Airways. I'm not going to go into my Avios balance just yet because I'm still trying to process it and get my head around the various aspects to the system. And there are some quirks in there, but we'll save that for another video. No, today it's talking about the spend itself because I currently have 620,000 Avios points, and I am an ignoramus. I have not paid any attention to Avios really at all for 10 plus years. So I kind of just sat on that Avios and not really spent it, which I know it's probably a complete stupid thing to do because I probably has obviously been devalued considerably and XYZ. So the point is, though, I'm going to try and get as many Avios points as I can on the Amex card and with the other sort of partner programs and hacks that you can do to boost that and see where it can take me. However, there is one flaw of my plan. In fact, there's probably scores of flaws in my plan, but the one I'm focusing on today is that I'm pig ignorant about the best way to actually utilize and redeem one's Avios points. Avios points, Avios points. You say tomato, I say tomato. The challenge for me really is, though, that not having really, I've seen them reward flights, book with Avios, book with cash and upgrade, part payment, offset payments from holidays. So it's been a little bit of a learning curve for me. And also, my GCSE grade C at maths has had to be deployed as best I can here. And that was, by the way, grade C from the mid 90s. So that's probably like an A star nowadays. But I'm going to keep it simple. And today we're going to look at the three main ones, which are the reward flights, the flight upgrades with Avios, and Avios part payment. We're going to do some number crunching. We're going to get that little hamster in my brain running around its wheel, and we're going to try to work out what the best deal is. Let's start off at the beginning with reward flights, as that's the one most people will be familiar with. Reward flights are basically just you using your Avios as currency to offset the price of your ticket. So the bulk of the payment is going to be your Avios points, and then there'll be an additional cash sum at the end of it. But the main focus is on the Avios. Now, this is one that isn't able to be utilized for holiday, so it has to be flight only, I believe. I haven't been able to find any way to do it in terms of booking a package. But yeah, so you get a various selection of seats in different cabins that are opened up, and BA has this rather nice sort of tool to find the flights, check the availability, and it's all very good. It's all very good, very handy, very transparent. Of course, I forgot to do the basics, didn't I? The very first thing, which is we need a baseline, don't we? We need a starting point to evaluate all the other calculations. That is just the old cash fare. So let's quickly do a cash fare. I'm going to do a New York because it's usually quite easy to get onto those flights. And I'm going to do Boxing Day through to the 31st of December. These are usually quite a good time to go, actually, just as an aside, because not many people like traveling Boxing Day. Not many people like traveling back New Year's Eve. So have a quick check 'cause you can tend to find some good deals, if certainly for the States at that time of year. So check that out. Anyway, so let's see how much a basic fare is. We will be going over departing at 2:10 on the 26th and flying back at 20:08 on the 31st. Of course, there are a plethora of options out there, and all these calculations will depend on the class you or the cabin you fly in, the destination, the time of year, where it's off peak, on peak. So there are way too many to go into here, but we're going to keep it simple and just use New York as the example. If you are stuck at all, the BA website has this reward flight finder option which allows you to check the availability of reward flights in up to 3 destinations. As such, if you are struggling or need a bit of inspiration, this is a particularly useful tool to finding the right places to cash in those Avios points. Now, I'm booking this for 2 passengers, assuming my other half wants to come with me. And here we go. The cash fare for that would be £4,329 and 64 pence. Let's put that total up here in this corner above Antoine the Ant. Hey, Antoine, very special person gave me that. So up there, so we have an idea of what we are working with. And this microphone keeps banging it, banging it. So sorry if I do that and the sound goes out. But you're right. Okay, so we've got the cash fare. That's good. Now let's do the Avios run and see what we would pay in terms of the Avios points and cash. Okay, so that price reduces from over £4,300 to £750 cash. And in exchange for that, I'm going to be handing over 360,000 Avios points. As you can see, the system offers you a selection of other options where you can pay more Avios or less Avios, more cash or less cash. But I'll quickly work out which one of these is the most cost efficient version, and we'll use that one as the comparison. There's actually quite a bit of variety on the various options in terms of bang for your buck or Avios for your penny. But I'm not going to go through all of them, but they sort of range from 0.9 of a pence to 0.7 of a pence, 0.8. But the best one I found was the 240,000 Avios for £1,750. That brought your Avios to a point of 1 penny a point. So that is the best option there. And of course, as someone who pays meticulous attention to detail, the exact amount is 1.07 pence per Avios. So I'll include that there. I'm not actually particularly meticulous. I'm a little bit sloppy, but other people are, so they'll no doubt point out my failures, as they always do. But anyway, so that is a pretty good return actually for Avios, pretty good redemption. I've seen other people online that use the, I think it's the 1 penny rule, so we're definitely above the 1 penny rule. So don't. But the other lesson to learn, of course, is don't assume that the first option is going to be the best one. Get your little calculator out, or your abacus, or if you're just good at mathematics, then just use your brain. But make sure you check all those different options before redeeming, because it may not sound like much, 0.2 or 3 of a pence, but if you're cashing in hundreds of thousands of points, it can make the difference, quite a big difference. And talking of points, I will quickly run through the other cabins just as an aside. I don't want to get too bogged down, but economy was £1,643.64 for the flights. If I factor in the Avios rewards, then I would get 1.2 pennies for my Avios. Now that is actually worth saying. That's just the first one that came up. I didn't bother going through all the various different ones because my brain is starting to hurt with all this arithmetic. Premium economy was £2,289.64. That came out at a 0.6 of a p. 0.6 of a p. So that was pretty lame. That's really poor. The best one, of course, was first, strangely enough, with it's £5,773.64. Well, with the discount or the reward it suggested, that came out at 1.4p per Avios. The downside of that is you have to actually offset about a huge chunk, over £1,700 or whatever it was. But it is a very, very wide range of options there, so you have to do your research. And a footnote on the first class tickets: I couldn't find the specific dates, the 26th of December to the 31st, so I had to improvise and just find whatever was available. So please forgive me on that one. Righty ho, let's move on to the second option for you to redeem those precious points. That is the book and upgrade with Avios. So you will see on the Avios reward finder section of the website, there is a box to the right hand side where if you click on that, it will give you the options to scroll down, you can upgrade outbound, inbound, same dates. You can also select the cabin you want to fly in before the upgrade. So that's an important thing to remember. So in this case, I'd put premium economy because I should have said we're doing business class flights because we really want to redeem our points for these things, not some awful little seat in economy. Okay, that's interesting. So that's £3,543.64p for the premium economy flights and a 80,000 to upgrade to business class. So that's an £876 saving, which equates to Avios with 80,000 Avios. That is even better value because that is 1.09 pennies to the Avios point. That is better than the Avios cash. Obviously, it's considerably lower because I guess you are coughing up over the best part of 3.5 grand anyway. But it's still an interesting one if you are looking to upgrade rather than splash out. Because if you do have some of that cash in the bank already, that might be a good option if you want to just eke out more for upgrades than necessarily paying for the business class flight straight up and saving cash. It really depends on your preference. But any of you eagle eyed viewers, out of the scores of people watching, will no doubt have spotted a little bit of an issue here with the price. A little aside, a little cheeky aside, of course, is if you do go to the BA website and check those flights for premium economy, you'll find they're over £1,000 cheaper if you just book them as cash rather than on this system. So I am a little bit dubious. I can't actually see how much there is to upgrade without booking a ticket. So someone could probably help me out. From memory, I want to say it was it 40,000, 50,000 Avios each way. I'm not completely sure about that, so I'm not going to nail my colours to the mast. But yeah, a little bit of a sleight of hand, if you will. But the point is that is still a better use of Avios to the penny. One additional factor when looking at redemption options is tier points. Very quickly, the first one, the reward flights, you do not get any tier points whatsoever. But with Upgrade with Avios, you do retain the tier points that you pay for your tickets. This would be obviously premium economy, so you would get the full tier points for that. Or additionally, it will be under the new system the exact spend, less any taxes. And this also applies to part payments, which we'll come on to in a minute. Now, I was quite interested with this because you get the full allocation, I believe, of tier points on this option. Or at least you did. I've not seen the fine print on the changes from 1st of April. But I do book a lot of holidays, and I did like the idea of, I can actually save a chunk of my holiday using Avios. Well, let's now see how that option stacks up with the previous two. Okay, so booking it as a hotel package, first of all, that gives you 100% of the tier points, but we're not talking about tier points, are we? We're talking about Avios points. So you pay I think it was about £1,000, £5,285 for a hotel. So background more to the total price. It gets a little bit hard to extrapolate and pick apart all the different permutations. So the point is that once you get to that booking screen, you go to the end, and you'll see at the bottom there is the options for part payments. As with the reward flights, you can choose how much you want to offset with Avios, ranging from a puny £64 for 7,175 up to £2,667 for my entire Avios balance of 620,226 points. Now, I'm not even really doing the maths on this, but just to see off the top of the bat, this looks like it's going to be atrocious. So let's see how it stacks up. This is a massive drop in terms of value for money, in terms of redemption power. This is bad. So the best one is actually the £64 one, which was 0.8 of a penny. So an eighth of a penny, which was the best return, and then it just drops off a cliff. So you get down to the about 0.4 of a penny. So just terrible value for money. So let's just add that there just for the record. That's a learning curve for me. And of course, you do earn Avios on these flights, and you do earn the bonus Avios for booking the hotel. So that is a little bit of an offset, but I really don't think it will make much of a difference in the overall scale of things. And I am surprised, nay shocked, nay even flabbergasted at the huge fluctuation between how much Avios you can get in terms of the spend at one end, all the way down to the meager, pathetic cash in when it comes to holiday offsets. So there we go. I have learned a lesson. I will definitely be avoiding my part payment for holidays, that's for sure. And it's a very interesting one because I suppose it really does depend on, first of all, the size of your Avios balance and the size of your bank balance. Whether you want to pay a bit more in terms of cash or not, or whether you want the most the most bang for your Avios buck. I think sometimes I can understand, actually. It would make sense to think, well, actually, I get less value, but it's a big chunk of money I'm spending. So to offset that is worth that kind of difference, or is it not? Is it worth saying, well, actually, I'd rather just keep chipping away at the higher end prices and save? I don't know the answer, but the answer definitely not the holidays, that's for sure. Well, there we go. So I now know I could waste my 620,000 Avios on a very terrible, terrible redemption, or I could use it very strategically to buy some pleasantly exciting flights around the world. I will check back when my Avios balance, my next credit card statement comes in, and we can see how that one's coming along. And as always, this is a safe space. So if you have any comments or views, or how have you squandered or spent your Avios to the most effective way, please do let me know. And likewise, if I've bungled this entire thing and got my maths wrong, then I'm sure people will be more than willing to point that out. In which case, I will redact this video and walk shamefully through the metaphorical corridors of YouTube, apologising. Feel free to like and subscribe to this channel. It's always a nice gesture, isn't it? Helping the elderly, helping the vulnerable get by. Of course, this video is based on my original one regarding Avios points and how many Avios points you could rack up. I said 300,000. I'm not sure I'll do that. But if you want to check out that video and see ways to earn the Avios, to spend the Avios, please do click on the link.